All right, Nazmul, I have started recording. So what we are going to do, I'm going to create a new project in Eclipse IDE. That will be a Java project. Okay, so this will be a Java project, and then I'm going to name the project. Let's say practice practice exception handling and dynamic wait. Okay, so then I'm going to say um, finish. Okay, I'm not going to use any test ng here, so let's say finish. And then no, so this is my project, and remember that inside the project, the first thing that we do, we create a project inside the source folder. So I'm going to create a new package, and I'm going to name it, okay, dynamic wait and exceptions. So remember, when you name the package, right, it is lower camel case. Convention is lower camel case. Okay, now finish. Now inside that package, I'm going to create a class. The name of my class is, let's say, again, I'm going to name it as dynamic. Now when you name class, it will be upper camel case. It will be started with uppercase letter. Dynamic wait and try catch. Okay, I'm going to include a main method and finish. So that is my let's say main method. You know that when you execute, if you do not have test ng, your execution will be started from main method. And in Java, everything is inside class. Without class, nothing will work. So we have a class, and inside the class we have the main method from where our execution will be started, right? So first of all, in this video or in this tutorial, we are going to navigate to a browser, and then we are going to click on a link, right? We are going to click on a link, and then we will verify something from the page. Okay, so we are going to click we are going to open a browser. We are going to click on a link, and then from the upcoming page we are going to verify an element. In doing so, we are going to use the dynamic wait, we are going to use our try catch, everything. Okay, now so to open, first of all, we will have to open a browser. To open the browser, right, uh, definitely what do you have to do? You will have to associate the Selenium libraries with the project, right? Other than that browser handling, object handling, you cannot do them. So go to your build path and configure build path, and in the configure build path, your libraries, add external jars. And where do you have your external jars? If you have downloaded the Selenium files from internet, right? The Selenium files from internet, can you see the Selenium Java libraries, right? I'm going to associate all these libraries from here. Open, and then I have two other libraries, those we will have to associate these two, right? So what will happen? Let's say I'm not associating it, I'm canceling it, right? Now let's say I'm going to take the syntax from another project, and if I try to use them, right, let me show you what will happen. So let's say that color, right? From color, if you have to use Chrome, let's say if you have to declare that Webdriver, right, object, if you have to invoke a browser, first of all you will have to declare a Chrome driver, right? If you want to invoke Chrome browser, so to declare a Webdriver, first of all you will have to say where you have the Chrome driver located. Like this Chrome driver you have to download first from internet, right? And after that you have to save it to a particular place in your computer, and then before you declare any WebDriver, right, you have to first you have to set the property by system.set property. Is that correct? Right. So let's say I'm copying this to statement. I'm not writing anything new from scratch, but I'm copying it from here, and then I'm going to go to my dynamic weight and object, and if I put this statement here, right, now this is I know that my what is called my my driver is there in that location. I have the driver, right? So let me remove this statement for now, and then when you put this statement, it will bring uh, some import as well. I do not want to mess with that. So let me write here. Let's say I'm going to now write a web driver, and then let's say my drv equal to, what do you do, new Chrome driver, and then right, new Chrome driver. Now if you click here, right, it will ask you, okay, can you see if I click here, it will ask, okay, do you want to create the class? We do not create Chrome driver class. That comes with what? That comes with the Selenium library. Since you do not have the Selenium library associated with your project, now it will say, do you want to create that class? Does it make sense? It will not give you the options to import it. So what you will have to do, you will have to go there, and you will have to go to your build path, and from the build path, right, can you see libraries? You will have to go there, external jars. You have already downloaded these libraries from internet, right? Selenium Java library. So you bring that, and then you have two other libraries. You bring that one as well. These two. Open. No, I didn't complete the process on that time. Now you say apply and close. Now you will see in the reference libraries, you will see this jar files, right? Now if you click here, can you see now it will give you the option import, right? You click on that import. Now you have one problem gone regarding that WebDriver. Now it is complaining about Chrome driver, right? So you click again. Now it will be bringing the Chrome driver. Does it make sense? Now we are good. So the next step, now we have our WebDriver. Now what we can do, by using that WebDriver, we can invoke the browser. So let's say that my driver dot get, right? When you click on get, it will give you option. Now you put your URL here. So what is your URL? Let's say I want to work with qaquestions.org. I want to work with this qaquestions.org. So let me copy the URL, and then let me put it in my code. Okay, and then so if you now run this code, right, let me close all of this browser, and if I run this code, so let me see what kind of exceptions that we are facing here. So it is complaining about this driver executable does not exist under this path. Can you see this chrome driver.exe? Let me see where do I have my chrome driver.exe, and then I'll be putting the right path. Now if you go to these files to be transferred, right, and then can you see chrome driver, right? That is where I have my chrome driver. Now I'll be copying this, and then I'll be going there, and instead of this path, right, I'm going to put. Does it make sense now? That's the location of your Chrome driver, exactly. So now if you execute it, right, you will see that now your browser will be opened with the corresponding website, right? Yeah. So from there, right, let's say, how do you make sure that the website is loaded, right? Yeah. You make sure the website website is loaded by verifying something you verify something prominent from the website, and then you say, oh yeah, my website is loaded, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So let's say that you want to verify this element to make sure that this is the most prominent element. If you see this element, then you say, okay, my page is loaded, right? Okay, so to do that, what we are going to do, we are going to inspect this particular object. Now, so let's say if you inspect, you will be able to see what type of object is that. You click on inspect one more time, inspect, then it will take you granular level. Now this is a link, right? This is a what? This is a link. Now, how do you how do you how do you verify how do you verify a link? You can verify a link by link text. Is that correct? You can verify a link by link text. So to verify a link by link text, very simple syntax, right? Very simple syntax. What you do is, what is the link text? You have link text. This is the link text. Is that correct? You copy this link text. Yeah. So yeah. So what you do here, right? Um, what you do to verify the you have to say if that object is visible or if that object exists, right? So yeah, so to verify that, so what you do is, let's say that remember we have declared a boolean variable, and then we said, okay, if this object exists, by using the boolean variable we put if and else condition for the verification purpose. So I'm going to go to the to look at the syntax from those, let's say in our method library, right? Those previously we have written. If you go to one of the method library, we did a lot of, can you see, we also did a highlighter, right? We are not going to bring highlighter at this point. So let's say that, can you see that what we are doing here, right? First of all, we are creating an element, and then we are as doing is the object is displayed. We are doing if it is displayed, and then if it is displayed, we are putting the value here in the result variable, right? And then if the object is there, then it will bring a true or false. So if it is true, then our object is there. If it is not true, then our object is not there. Is that understandable? Okay. Yeah. So here, let's say that if I copy one of this syntax from here, and let me go to my the function, the method that we are writing here. So let's say that first of all I'm going to create a web element, right? So for this, I know that highlighter will be coming with a complaint at the moment. Let me just remove the highlighter. I do not need to highlight anything. Now you know how to highlight things, right? So here, what is our driver? Our driver is my driver, right? So instead of drb, I'm going to say my driver dot find element by dot what? By dot, we are going to find the element by dot link text, right? By dot link text, right? And then what is the link text that we have? Yep, one second, let me remove this other additional part. Now what is the link text? I'm going to bring the link text from the brought another. So I'm going to bring the link text from this. So this is my link text, and then I'm going to put it here, right? So now I have my object in this obj element, right? Now I'm going to say this result, right? I'm going to declare a variable boolean. Why do you use boolean? To store true or false type value. Does it make sense? So I'm putting result equal to obj element is displayed. I'm asking, is this element displayed? If it is displayed, this will return true. If it is not displayed, this will return false. Does it make sense? And then I'm printing, okay, true or false, and then I'm saying if result is true, right? If you see result is true, then okay, QA questions website displayed, right? Other than that, we will say QA question website is not displayed. Does it make sense up to that? Okay. So here, let's say that if I close this and if I execute it again, okay, now if I go back in my console, QA question website is loaded. Does it understandable? Do you understand up to this?
I get it.
Let's say that if I say, if I remove that S, right? If I remove that S, now if I run it again, let me close this.
You're doing all the executions in one class, right?
Yeah, I'm not creating any color just to save time.
Gotcha.
So here, now if you look at it, right, can you see your code is now failed, right? And it is saying, can you see the exception? Can you see the exception in thread main, no such element exception? Can you see no such element?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Right? Okay. Now let me bring one by one. So here, Nazmol, let's say that, okay, you thought that, okay, that S we removed and now the object is not there. Now let's say that you are thinking, actually, it might be the website is not loaded before it is checking, right? So let's say that your suspicion here is, okay, probably the website is not fully loaded and I'm going to, in the meantime, I'm checking if the object is there. So while having this type of thinking, you thought, okay, if I put a thread.sleep, right, that might resolve the issue, right? Thread.sleep, let's say you are putting 10, right? Now the complaint here, what is the complaint? Can you see unhandled exception type interrupted exception? Can you see?
Yeah.
Because this is not a safe code, right? So what will happen as well, right? So to that you will have to click here, what you did, add throws in the declaration. It will be adding throws here, right? When you do this, when you click on this and add throws exception in the declaration, it will be adding the throws here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now let's say if you write it in that way, try, right? And then you come here, this is your, that is where your code is ended, right? Then you put then you put another, this one, and put catch, and then you use here try catch block, right? Let me bring try catch in Java. So let's say Java Selenium. So here right, if you go back, I'm going to write an example. So here if you take a look, this try catch, right? Can you see exception E? You will be putting this one there, and then you come to your block, and then here in this one, right, you put exception E. Now do you see the complaint regarding this thread.sleep is gone? although we didn't expose bring that throws here, but the complaint is gone. So that is how, when you write code, right, that is how using try catch, let's say that if you put here now this is the E, right? Now if you put system,
E is a variable, right?
yeah, is a variable, exception is a class. If you put, I'll explain more, if you put system dot out dot print ln, right, and then if you put e dot, right, you will see e dot get message. Can you see this? E dot get message. Now if you execute this again, the website is loaded. Now let me go to the code here. Now can you see, now our code, although the object didn't appear, but our code didn't throw any exceptions. Can you see, our code didn't throw any exceptions. Instead, right, it is saying that in the error message, right, element info using link text value QA interview question, this object is not there. This object is not there. Can you see, instead of exiting out from the test with error, right, it it exited out from the test with gracefully. Can you see, no such element exception was there. Unable to locate element method link text. Can you see how it exited from the test, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Let me put this message here, error message, right, and then put a plus here. Okay, now you will see what is happening at what sequence. Okay, so now if you go back, right, you will see that, can you see error message? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Where did we print it? We printed it from exception block. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And instead of showing a lot of exception, lot of red line, it just shows we got error message, no such element exception found for this particular link. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Um, so what's the purpose of the try catch?
Okay, now so here let's say that, can you see this thread dot sleep also, it was it was an unsafe code, and now when you put it inside the try block, right, now it is try block is handling it. The try block is was able to handle that thread dot sleep without putting a throws here. Now the purpose of this try catch block is to, um, let's say if your code is failing, right, let's say what will happen if you remove this. Let me just quickly comment out this part and this catch part, right. First of all, you will not be able to execute because of this thread dot sleep, right.
Yeah, it needs a throws declaration.
Yeah, that throws declaration, if you use it, um, and if you use a try catch, you do not have to do that throws declaration, right. Let me put it now, if you execute your code, right, you will see that how bad it is, like output if it fails, right, how bad it looks like.
The console will show like a very bad
Mm-hmm.
rejection, right?
Mm-hmm. Now if you go back, can you see in the console, it is hard to troubleshoot actually what is happening, right, to make it organized. So if your code is failing, remember that in your, if you develop a framework, you will have to have try and catch block. If anything is failing, it will be going to the catch block, and it will be showing an organized error message, so that you know actually what happened.
So, from my understanding, it works like an if else statement, right? So it works like if the right?
No, if even in if else, right? If the object is not there, even if you put if else, still it will be showing all of this mess in the output. You can only avoid by using try catch block.
Right. So when the element is not found, it
Hmm.
will go into the catch block.
Hmm.
All right. But if it is found, then it'll.
The execution will be going through as expected.
Oh, okay.
Now
So
in the let's say if the element is not found, right? What you can do, you can put a meaningful message. Let's say this particular object is not found. You can write this message in a text file, you can write this message in a wherever, and you can track it. Okay, that is how it is. You can fail the step, whatever in this catch block, whatever you want. If you want to write something in a file, if you want to write it something, you can do it, you can take care of that in the catch block.
okay. So basically, I can use try catch when I'm using a implicit wait, and I can use that so that I don't have to use throws declaration.
Yeah, that is
So it's
correct.
more. The purpose is to make it more organized.
Yeah. So exception help. So why do you use try catch? We use like in our code execution. If there is any exception, to handle that kind of exception, we use try catch block. To handle the exceptions, we use try catch block. So if there is any exceptions happens, it will be going to the catch block, and in the catch block, I can write whatever I want corresponding that error. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So I get it now. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I just gotta. I guess I just gotta practice using it and really understand that.
Mm.
Um,
Yep.
Cause so with the try block, that the entire code is within the try block, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from web element to all the even the if else statement is in the try block.
Try block. So the way when you write your framework, right? The way it works, Nazmol. So this is your caller. You have another class. Remember, you have another class where you have all the methods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Normally, what you do, let's say that you create a new class. New class. Let's say this is where you are going to put all your library method lib, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now finish. Now inside that method lib, right, you write your, what do? You write your all the methods. Now to handle all the methods, definitely like what you will do, you will be putting each of your method here. Let's say the way you write it, let's say void you, let's say you are writing a method verify uh, page logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Verify page logo, and then you put here your code. Now what is that? You will have to take a webdriver webdriver my drv, let's say my drv. Now that webdriver, definitely you will have to import it here. You already have the library, that's fine. Now you go to your, so instead of messing up all this code, right, instead of messing with the code, you copy all these things from here, right, and then you go to your method library and then put the code here. Okay, now this is displayed result. You will have to declare that variable instead of there. You will have to declare it over there, right? If you
Okay. So you
declare,
have to. If you want to run the method, you have to make an instance of it
right,
first, right?
right. So what you do now here, here in your main method, right, you declare an object, this one, um, caller obj equal to new
Method
this,
lib.
right, and then by using this object you say dot, and what is your verify page logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what will happen for, to handle every, can you see, you have a, for this method is just for handling one object, is that correct? Now when you are handling, right, you are coming here, and then let's say if the object is not there, if the object is not there, then what you say, you come here system out println, and then if you want to failure test case, you say okay, you put your okay, the test case is failed here, right? So in the exception part, remember we have used assert dot fail. Do you remember those syntax? Assert dot fail we have used.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, with test ng, if you want to fail something, you put assert and assert dot fail. So those thing you can use it,
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
right? So now let's say Nazmol, this is what we did. Now for example, right, we have used thread dot sleep, right? So what will, like, let's say that if you put instead of thread dot sleep, this thread dot sleep, you do not want to give example to anyone, because everyone knows this is a unsafe code. Okay,
So no, I should have mentioned
you,
thread sleep.
you never mention this thread dot sleep. So let's say if you have to, let's say if I have to use a implicit, if I have to use a hard coded wait, then I use implicit wait. Implicit wait, what is the syntax for implicit wait? This is the syntax for implicit wait. Now what is your driver? Your driver is this. Your driver is this, my driver. Now what will happen? Time unit, you will have to import some libraries for that, and this is the time unit. Now it will be, before it is going to look for that object, right, you will see that if you put 20-second, right, if you put 20-second here, Nazmol, let's say before it, so you will see what is happening here. If I execute it now, you will see after the page is loaded, it will be waiting 20-second before it go to do other things, right? Can you see? Now it is waiting 20-second. After that it will say, or it will do not say anything. The execution is not done yet, it is still waiting 20-second.
So you when you use implicit wait, you have to wait 20 seconds.
You have to wait because this is hard coded wait, you cannot avoid it,
Okay.
right? Once it will be done with that 20-second, then it will be moving forward with further yeah, further things. Now let's say, can you see my driver time units implicit wait, implicitly wait how many seconds? 20 seconds, right? So let's say that if you put, right, so here let's say I'm putting a message system dot out dot println, right, println, and I'm going to say wait started, right, and then I'm going to say wait ended. Let me see how it is going to play. Right, let me run it one more time. So it seems like the weight is it is not following the weight, right? It is not so when the wait implicitly wait, my driver dot manage timeouts dot implicitly wait 20 timeout unit seconds, right? It should be waiting here after the wait has started. It should be waiting here um, for a certain amount of time before it show this. Now
But it did not do that.
it did not do that. So what will happen if I do thread dot sleep, and then if I put, let's say, 10,000, right? Now if I execute it one more time,
That's for 10 seconds, right?
yeah, So now here wait started, right? Can you see now it is waiting 10 seconds, and after 10 seconds we should see wait ended, right? After 10 seconds wait ended. So when we are, let's say if we do not use this, right? So now if you run it one more time, literally it should wait 10 seconds, but it, although it is not waiting, right? For example, let me do another experiment here. Okay, so basically that implicitly wait is not working in this case, but if it is come into the interview, right, that is how you are gonna handle it. Implicit wait, we use implicitly wait and we write the syntax in that way. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So you use try catch
Mm-hmm.
to organize your exceptions,
Mm-hmm.
and you use implicit wait
Mm-hmm.
to do your wait time.
Wait time, yeah.
That's all it is,
Yeah,
right?
that's all it is. Try catch to handle any exceptions. If the object is not there, if something is wrong with the code, it will be going to the exception block.
So with the catch block, it says exception E. Do you need that?
Now that exception when it will be coming here, right? Remember, this is a this is a method and it takes a parameter. And what type of parameter it takes? It this exception is a class that is defined in Java,
Okay.
and it this catch method takes an object of that exception class. That's why we have to take that object, and then you can use what type of exception you are getting. All information are available under this E. If you put, let's say, E dot, right, you will see that regarding that exception all kind of information available. What was that exception about, right? All kind of information is available.
I see.
You can call whatever you need. Now, so let's say up to this, now we are going to use dynamic wait. Okay,
Oh, so this was not dynamic.
no, this is still, can you see this? This is implicit wait. This is not dynamic. If you put,
Dynamic wait is different.
if you put 20 second, this is implicit wait. Can you see implicitly wait? If you put 20 second, it will be waiting 20 second. Now let's go to the dynamic wait. So let's say after the website is open, right, the next step is, let's say we are going to click on the contact us menu, right? So to click on the contact us menu, what we have to do, we have to inspect this, and then
I think it's a hover on method.
if you want to click on the contact, I'm not hovering, I'm just clicking on the contact us menu.
Okay.
So if you click on the contact us menu, uh, excuse me, so we are going to click on a link by text contact us. Does it make sense? Okay, so we are going to write another method here. After that, I'm thinking something, Nazmul, give me 1 second. Okay, so here I'm going to write another method that will be, let's say, again similar way. I'm going to put it here, right? Let's say um, click on
Contact us.
contact us link, and this method name always lower camel case. Now here I'm going to declare a dynamic wait. Okay, now let's say that for the syntax, what is the syntax for dynamic wait, right? This is the syntax for dynamic wait. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go to my code, and then let's say that I'm going to put it here. Now can you see this Webdriver wait? Now what is, first of all, what is my driver? My driver is my drb, right? and Webdriver weight we'll have to bring that class, import Webdriver, right?
So WebDriver weight is a keyword, right?
Webdriver weight is a class like Chrome driver, right? This is a class.
It's in the Java libraries, right?
Yeah, it's in the Java library.
Okay.
Then let's say my element will be this, right? And then can you see expected conditions? For that I will have to bring the expected conditions. Okay, I'll have to click again, and then I'll have to, what is it is complaining obj LE, I'll have to declare that obj LE, right? Remember the way we have declared this web element, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to declare that web element. Let's put it here. Now here, right, I cannot declare it one more time, so let me just, I do not need this now. So what is the link, right? I am visibility of element by dot what, we are expecting, we are going to handle that object by dot link text. And what is our link text? Our link text is contact us, right? And then, so here what will happen, Nazmul, if you put 40-second, let's say you put 100-second, 100-second, it will wait up to, I actually, oh, this is this is the implicit way. Let me go to the next method. So here if you take a look, if you put here, can you see Webdriver wait, and if you put even 200-second, right, it will not be waiting 200-second. Can you see here, as soon as it will be seeing that contact us link, it will be exiting out. But if the link is not there, it will be waiting up till 200-second. That is what dynamic wait is.
Okay, so I see the difference now. Implicit wait is where you have to wait that certain amount of time. But dynamic wait, as soon as the element is found, it will just move on.
Exactly. And what is the use of that what is the use of that try catch?
To organize your exception.
Yeah, if there is any exception, it will be going to the catch block, and it will be handling the exceptions there.
Okay, so if there is an exception, it will go to the catch block.
Otherwise your code will be executed as normal.
Okay. So there's how many types of weights are there? So there's dynamic weights.
Yeah,
There's explicit weights.
yeah, there is implicit weight and explicit weight. These two type of weight there.
And dynamic weights is something different, right?
Dynamic weight is no, that explicit weight is the dynamic weight. Can you see we are saying that Webdriver weight and expected conditions dot visibility of element located by, that is what dynamic weight is.
Okay.
So implicit weight is the hard coded weight, explicit weight is the dynamic weight.
Oh, okay. Dynamic weight is an explicit weight.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, and that is what we are doing here in this. This is the dynamic weight. Dynamic weight. It will be waiting up to 200-second, but if the object is available after 2 seconds, right, it will not be waiting there. Now let me show you this. Now let me do this execution. I'll show you by example. Let's say that Nazmul, contact us link, right? Okay, and then you go there, you put 20-second, right? Now you run it.
So it'll do the implicit weight first.
So yeah, let me explain it. Now I am there, right? And then contact us is displayed, right? Now have you seen any weight there? No, because contact us was there. Now if you remove this S, right? Now if you do the execution, you come to this page. Now can you see wait started and it is waiting
It's gonna do
for the contractors.
Yeah.
Now we are in the contractors. Remember contractors, we have removed the S. Now you'll see after 20 seconds it will be waiting up to 20 seconds, and after 20 seconds it will be showing expected condition failed, waiting for visibility of element located by link text. Contact you tried 20 seconds with 500 millisecond interval. It checked the if the contact you link is there up to 20 seconds, and it checked every 500, every half a second it check if the object is there.
I see. Is that an exception right there?
Yeah, this is an exception. And can you see expected condition failed, the exception text? Can you see we error message, the error message that we are getting, the expected condition failed, and element located by link text contact you tried for 20 seconds with 500 milliseconds in interval. So what happened here when you put that explicit wait, right, it is now started looking for contact you. Every half a second it was looking for that contact you, and it has waited 20 seconds before it throws an exception, before it goes to the catch block. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so I get it now. If there is an exception, it will go to the catch block.
Catch block.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then it will throw the.
Now can you see the when you have used that expected conditions, now the error message is different. What expected condition failed, right? The error message is regarding that. So every time it faces an exception, it will be giving you corresponding message. Can you see? We are extracting get message, right? Now what type of exception we are having, and based on that the message will be changed.
So dot get message will display the exception message, right?
Yeah, the details of the exception message. Now here in this part we have expected conditions, right? So that the message is now, can you see expected condition failed?
Yeah, I see. So it says error message accepted condition failed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exception
Mm-hmm.
that was thrown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had waited up to 20 seconds, and it was looking for that object every half a second. It was going to the website and look for that object, and it didn't get it within 20 seconds.
And this wait was a
Dynamic wait.
Okay, I see. All right. Yeah, this is things that you need to know. So.
Yep. Now if you run it one more time with the proper link text, right, then you will see that right now you will not see any kind of exceptions there probably, and contact you link is displayed, right? Now if you the yes contact us link, click on contact us link, right? If you want to click on that contact us link, what you do, you if the link is there, then you do my what is that what is that object? This is the object, right? Yeah. And then here you put this dot click and run it one more time. Right, can you see it clicked on that? You saw that the website it has clicked on the contact us page, right? And no exception, right?
Yeah, no exception.
You got it? This dynamic wait and that implicit wait.
Yeah, so I get it now.
Now now what is this wait? This one?
That is implicit wait.
Implicit wait, that is a hard coded wait. It is just like thread.sleep.
Just like thread.sleep,
Mm-hmm.
but it does not need, because you're using try catch, you don't need throws exception.
Yeah, exactly. And for like even with try catch, right? If you do not use try catch, this will not throw any exception. This is safe.
Okay. Only thread.sleep is you need a
Yeah. You,
try catch
yeah.
for throws.
Yeah.
And but you said, like you said, nobody uses thread.sleep.
Yeah. That
People
is correct.
use implicit and dynamic.
Yeah, implicit wait for hard coded wait, and then that explicit wait, that is dynamic for variable wait.
I see. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember my interviewer said that implicit wait takes a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
he asked me, what else can you do? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I can say I use dynamic wait to speed up the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
It's a
So
small detail. I'm getting it.
okay. So up to this we are good. Now let me go
Yeah.
back. Let me go back to the document. Now the other question he asked you, what are different type of exception you see? No such element exception, no such window exception, right? These are the different kind of exception those we see during Selenium testing. Timeout exception, no such session exception, stale element exception. These are the different exceptions those we see.
I see.
He asked, remember he asked you, what are the different exceptions do you see during Selenium script?
Yeah, I remember that. And only said one, I think.
Okay?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones that are like the first one, no element exception, right? No
Mm-hmm.
such element
Mm-hmm.
exception. That's when the element is not found.
Yeah.
And what else have we used? We use
Let's say sometimes you will see stale element exception, right?
okay.
Stale element means like normally you will be able to click on a button, but sometimes or click on a link. Sometimes you will see you are clicking on a link, it doesn't work. So on that time you will get stale element reference exception.
Okay, I see.
Have you seen the situation like you are trying to click on a link but it is not working? The click is not working. So when your code will be having that type of situation, it will be throwing a stale element reference exception.
Okay, I just gotta. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. You can send this document over.
I'll be sending. One other thing, can you explain the final keyword that he asked you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you that.
Yeah, final keyword is used in different contexts. First of all, final is non-process modifier applicable only to variable, method or class. If you use final keyword with a variable, you can only assign value to that variable only one time, and later on you cannot change the value,
Okay.
right?
So
Let's say Nazmul, let's say that if I go back to the code, and can you see that web element, right? instead of instead of declaring it here, if I declare it inside the class before any method, then this will be available throughout the
the code.
throughout the throughout all of this object, throughout all of this method. Is that correct? We'll be able to, we do not have to declare it every time. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Now let me remove this. Now, so that means you have declared it once, and then you can save this link to this object, and in the next method you were able to save this link, another link to that object, right?
Yeah.
But what will happen if you say final, right? Now you will see it will complain. When you declare an object with final keyword, right, you will be able to store value only once, final web element, and let's say you will be able to store only one time a value, and then later on you cannot reassign value to it.
So, uh, so now you have to set a value for that
Yeah,
object.
yeah, you have to set a value during declarations, and after that you cannot change the value. Like we have changed the value here, we have changed the value in the next one. If you declare it as a final, you cannot do that. Does it make sense why the final is?
Yeah.
Now,
What would be the benefit of doing that though?
so sometimes you have to have some variable, and you want to make sure that nobody change the value of that variable.
I see. You want to keep it constant.
Constant. Nobody is able to change the value. Then you declare it as a final.
Oh, okay, that's very simple.
Yeah, very simple. Now, final methods. When do you declare final methods? Prevent method overriding, so that people do not override the method. You declare it as a final. Does it make sense? When do you declare a method as final? So that people do not able to override the method.
Yeah, they cannot change the parameters, right?
Yeah, they cannot change the declarations or parameters of the method. When
Okay.
do you declare a final class? So that people do not able to inheritance it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is very informative. Thank you.
Sure. So I've so I'll be sending you this document, okay, and make sure that when you go to the next interview, you are very good with these questions.
Yeah. So
And
I see.
this guy handle it the way I ask you to handle it. If you have to memorize it, memorize it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. And I feel like overall the interview went pretty well, but
Mm-hmm.
some certain
So you struggle here, Nazmul. You struggled on this question, okay?
human exceptions.
Number one, and then you struggle a little bit on this, but this is good. So let's say that you struggled mainly in this question and on that um, try catch exception handling question, right? Remember this um, final keyword you struggled, and then you wait on this question. What is exceptions? Do you see in Java how do you handle exceptions? You out of all of these questions, you struggled on these three questions,
I see.
right?
And they're very key, very important.
Mm-hmm. So you just improve. You go one step at a time. If you, I know that you are not from very, like directly from computer science, that type of situation, but you go forward one step at a time. If you stuck on something, you improve yourself. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, so here the final thing that I'm going to discuss, how do you do web service testing? If the guy asks, okay, the way you explained it, right, this is like I got the, sometimes you will get the WSDL from the developer as well. You said I get it from internet, right? Sometimes you will say, sometimes I get the WSDL from internet, sometimes I get it from the developer. And regarding end URL, we reach out to the developer regarding the end URL. You got it? You do not like, you get the end URL, endpoint URL from internet when you do the practice.
Okay.
But if you work in a project, your project developers will be giving you the endpoint URL.
Okay. So I did my best to know like
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And one other thing, have you done any automated web service testing? Right here, I didn't do much about it, but once I did, using Groby language in web service testing, we use Groby language.
okay, that's for the automation.
Uh-huh. You do automation, web service automation by using Groby language.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I haven't performed automation, so my best answer for that was
Yeah,
is no.
I did a little bit. I did a little bit, using Groby language.
Okay.
Can you explain a little bit more? Actually, I'll have to brush up my knowledge on this, but I did once. I did, and I remember that I have used Groby language.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, sounds good. Everything, Nazmol.
Yeah.
All right. So I will be sending you this. You already have the recording, so I'll be sending you the document, and we'll go from there. Keep doing whatever you are doing. You are doing good job, but you know, make keep making progress.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I will.
Uh,
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Nazmol.
I'll keep going.
Yeah, sure. Bye.